Welcome into Jungle Tales, a Pirate Baseball podcast. On deck for East Carolina is a pair of midweek games with the VCU Rams, a tradition-rich program, and the Pirates and Rams will square off at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night at the Diamond, and then meet again on Wednesday afternoon. And right now to preview that matchup, very excited to be joined by their first-year head coach, Sean Thompson. Coach, we appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. As we were discussing off the air, you're the youngest head coach in Division I baseball at 29 years old. You had so much success as a player at VCU, and then as an assistant coach, you also had stints at Monmouth and FIU. And so just before we dive into this year's team specifically, just walk us through that process of getting the job and what that experience that I mentioned, how that prepared you for your job.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very fortunate to be around a lot of really good people in the sport of baseball. Actually, as early back when I was getting recruited to VCU by Jeff Palumbo, from East Carolina. And that just has always kind of set me up and on this trajectory to have this opportunity like this. And, very thankful for the people that I've been around and learning the ways they've done it. Obviously, they've gone on to different places, then being able to, call VCU home, a place that's my alma mater, played here, help the baseball program win some championships as a player, and then also as a coach now. Just be able to come around full circle. It means a lot to me and my family, and obviously super excited for this next chapter in my life and being able to coach this program.
Obviously, as I mentioned in the lead-in, tradition-rich program. Last year, you won 38 games, won an A10 title. You were in the Greenville Regional, where you knocked off Wake Forest in a 1-0 thriller. And
Yep.
As you take over, give us a general overview of your roster makeup. What did you lose from a year ago, and and what do you have back? And then we'll dive into some of the specifics.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic season last year. What an amazing regional. East Carolina was first class, and it was a great experience for our program. And then, like a lot of teams, when there's a coaching change, we had a ton of turnover. We had 3 guys drafted off last year's team, and then, some portal activity as well, like a lot of programs when they go through a coaching change. So we have a much different roster this year than we did last year. Really, the only returner we have on the offensive side that played a good amount of baseball was Casey Kleinman, a senior middle infielder and catcher for us. And then Trent Edelman is another one that had a little bit of experience off last year's team. So on the position player side, a lot of new faces. And then on the pitching side, we're headlined by two older guys that are returned, and Cade Dressler, who's been starting on the weekend for us, and then Owen Tappy, who in my opinion is one of the the better relief pitchers in the entire country. He was fantastic for us last year and has pitched a lot of big innings already this year for us. So, a lot of new faces that we had to go out and get into the program here, but excited kind of how the group's meshed together so far in the early preseason play.
One of those many new faces that you reference, freshman Jacob Lee from right there in the state of Virginia, and according to Perfect Game, the number 3 catcher in the state of Virginia last year. And, he's off to an excellent start. He's hitting close to 300, 3 bombs, and also 3 doubles.
Yeah, Jacob's been fantastic. He's someone that obviously means a lot to us, having some local talent on our roster. And, what he's been able to do as a freshman has been extremely impressive. But the way that he's carried himself has been even more impressive. The ups and downs of college baseball, as we know, for freshmen are really difficult. And just as he's continued to get better every single day, and carry that mindset that he's not wearing it all on his shoulders. He's just coming in and trying to become a better baseball player every single day and have a great attitude. And it definitely rubs off on the other guys.
In addition to Jacob, who are some of the other newcomers that have stood out here in the first quarter of the season?
Yeah, I think we've been fortunate. We've had a couple older guys that have, walked in the door and been productive for us. One of them's being Sean Swenson. He's a grad transfer from Quinnipiac University. He's been playing a really good first base for us, and he's continuing to find his way offensively. And I think he's going to be poised to continue to break out as this year moves on. And then another one is Will Henson, kind of a senior utility player wherever we need him, and also been DHing for us. He's a transfer from Ohio State. He's been swinging the bat really well. Continuing to find his way, has been, helping out in the slugging department for us. A couple key doubles and home runs throughout this early part of the season, and those guys have been fun to watch, and excited to see where they're going to continue to be at as the year moves forward.
Shifting over to the pitching side, you referenced a couple of those returners that are key arms for you. In addition to them, who are some of the newcomers you like what you've seen from thus far on the mound?
Yeah, Miles Garrett's throwing the ball really well. He's a transfer from Missouri. He's been pitching on the weekend for us. And then, been impressed with Broden Palmer. He's had a little bit of a rough one this past weekend. Wasn't his best outing, but been impressed with him. And then Cooper Campbell's another name I've been very pleased with. He's another freshman, Virginia kid. He's throwing the baseball really well for us out of the pen, and excited to see as he continues to grow here.
And as we look at this midweek series between the Pirates and Rams, something that was attempted a year ago. Unfortunately, weather intervened, and we were able to play one game, if I recall correctly. Have you announced your pitching plans for tomorrow and Wednesday, or is it kind of play it by ear and Johnny Holstaff situation?
Yeah, I think like a lot of teams, double midweeks are always difficult. Tomorrow we're going to start senior pitcher Max Moore, left-hander. He's going to start and get it rolling for us tomorrow. Wednesday, TBD. Obviously, kind of going to see how tomorrow's game shakes out, and then kind of to determine, how the pitching is going to look at after tomorrow.
Defensively, what have you seen from your club here in the early going?
Yeah, defensively, I've been pleased with how we've played, especially with as many new guys and putting some guys in some different spots so far. But been really pleased with how clean it's been. Like every coach, I'm sure around the country, always can get better in that department. But I've been really impressed with putting guys and inserting them in different spots and some different positions. And that's a huge thing for me. I'm a big believer in defensive flexibility and being able to move guys around the field. And it makes you a more dynamic team. And for an individual, it makes you a more dynamic player.
Final thing for you, Coach, in this region, we always talk about it. It's no challenge to schedule well, and you've certainly done that. You had a opening weekend series down at the College of Charleston, a team that got snubbed a year ago, should have been in the tournament, in my opinion. And
Yep.
then you go to Clemson, in the Clemson Invitational, lost 2 competitive games to the Tigers, that are now a top 10 team. And you've been at North Carolina in the midweek. We know how good they are. And most recently, you took 2 out of 3 from Princeton, winning in 2 shutouts, 4-0 and 11-0. So tell us about the competition your team's seen here early on.
Yeah, we've been tested, that's for sure, and we've always done that here at VCU. That's kind of always been a standard, and I'm a big believer if you want to play at the end of the year in the postseason, you got to play these guys and figure out your formula to beating them and having success. And I think it's worked out pretty well in the past for us. But yeah, like you said, we played a really good College of Charleston team. Was very impressed with them. They're going to win a lot of baseball games. Obviously, Clemson is a fantastic team. That they were very impressive, and we played some really close games with them. And then, I know you guys at East Carolina have also played Chapel this year. They got a really good team full of a lot of young talent. And then, played a really good Penn State team as well there in our first home weekend. And then also Boston College, who's coming off winning 2 out of 3 against UVA. So we've really challenged ourselves here in the preseason, and I think it's been good for a group like this with so many new faces that are a lot of guys having their start at Division I baseball or trying to have another go at it at this level. And I think it's what sets you up to win games in your league and ultimately give yourself a chance to play for a championship at the end of the year.
Yeah, that Boston College result over the weekend in Charlottesville definitely turned some heads around college baseball. And but Coach, we really appreciate the time, and we'd love to have you back on down the road whenever the Pirates and Rams get together.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys taking the time, and thank you very much. Looking forward to playing you guys.
Pirate Nation, that is first-year head coach Sean Thompson, and former VCU Ram that has returned to his alma mater last year as an assistant coach and now as the head coach. Again, the youngest head coach in Division I baseball. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us on X, Instagram, and YouTube at Jungle Tales Pod, and then also on Facebook as well as Spotify by simply searching Jungle Tales, a Pirate Baseball podcast. But that will do it for this edition of On Deck. We'll talk to you soon. And as always, go Pirates.